Hello and welcome. Vinesh Phogat arrives in India to a chaotic welcome in Delhi. Gargi Rao joins us from Delhi, provided her phone works. Shopnil, if you could play the visuals. Yes, these are the visuals that you can see from Delhi airport. This is not something that we wanted to see. We wanted to see her wearing that medal. Unfortunately, she was sobbing. Shopnil, if you could show that photograph of Sakshi, Vinesh, and Bajrang. If you see that photograph, you will see that this is not something that you wanted to see. I mean, I want Shopnil to play that picture. Shopnil, can you play that picture on screen, please? Not these visuals. I want you to keep that photograph. Keep that photograph on the screen. That's what you need to do. Keep that photograph. I don't want any of this. Just keep that photograph on screen that I'd sent you of the three which we put out. Yes, just keep this photograph on screen, and this is what tells you the story. This is what tells you the story that you did not want to see. Vinesh Phogat crying, Sakshi Malik crying, Bajrang Punia standing by. This is not the photograph that all of India wanted to see when Vinesh Phogat came back to India. हम लोग जब ये विजुअल्स देख रहे हैं, ओलंपिक फाइनल पहुंचने के बाद अगर ये विजुअल्स हमें देखने को मिल रहा है, this is not something we wanted to see. These are very distressing visuals, very troubling visuals, very traumatic visuals, very painful visuals that we are seeing. Thank you, Shopnil, for showing this. I mean, this is the one picture that sums up the story quite well. If Gargi is joining me, come on, Gargi, join us. Join us. If you could get Gargi on, please. Shopnil, if Gargi is live, can you get Gargi on live, please? I think she is backstage. Shopnil, can you get her on live? Yeah, Gargi Rao, please, over to you.
She is having internet issues.
Shopnil, unfortunately, is telling me that Gargi is having internet issues. Shopnil, the moment you get her live because I want some live updates. And you can play the videos now. You can play the videos now that Gargi had sent. It is very important. Look at these visuals. Keep these visuals on screen. Vinesh Phogat back in India from Paris. These are distressing visuals because, as you can see, there's quite a bit of chaos out there at Delhi airport. And sadly, she comes back to an India where she doesn't have the medal. She comes back to an India where she's being hailed as a champion, yes, but sadly, she doesn't have the medal. It will take time. A lot of people very close to her have told me it will take a lot of time for things to sink in. It will take a lot of time for Vinesh Phogat to come to terms with what has happened. Let's get Gargi Raut live. Gargi, if you can sort of come live whenever it's ready. I think you're having internet issues. The truth here is it is important for India to recognize and celebrate Vinesh Phogat for the three wins. Look at her, folded hands, folded hands. But it is also true. It is also true based on yesterday's statement. कल जो उन्होंने 4 पेज का एक statement issue किया था, तो statement के basis में मैं ये कह रहा हूँ that Vinesh Phogat ultimately is a wrestler. She should know that that's where she belongs. Yes, the elections are coming in Haryana. This is becoming a political issue. She has mentioned that had it been other circumstances, she would have fought till 2032. I would actually want to see her back on the mat because that's where Vinesh Phogat belongs. These are visuals. Let this issue not be appropriated politically. Whatever the protests were different. She's now part of the Olympics campaign. She has been part of the Olympics campaign. She was almost there for a gold medal. She was in the final, so a silver was there for the taking. Sadly, because of the 100 grams, which is basically the size of a tomato or a banana, she missed out on the medal. But when this issue is appropriated by politicians, it becomes a very different thing. So I would want that to be kept in mind. Her statement yesterday, at the end of the day, she should. Yeah, Gargi, if you can hear me, Gargi, just come on. There's no need to show visuals. Just come on screen and give me a lowdown on what just transpired in Delhi. Sadly, unfortunately, the internet is not great with Gargi, so we'll try and get her on as soon as possible. But the point that I'm trying to make, and it's a pretty significant one, the point that I'm trying to make here is the statement that she issued. And the last few lines were significant for me. The last few lines which said to me that she says wrestling is still in her. Wrestling is still in her and she can compete till 2032. You know, she can compete till 2028 had circumstances been different. That is her identity. She is celebrated because she is a wrestler. If this issue gets appropriated politically, then we actually lose focus. We actually start to lose focus. Vinesh Phogat continues to be a top wrestler. She still has the sport, and I want to see her back on the mat. I want to see her come back and play the sport and come back on the mat because that is where she belongs. Importantly, that is where Vinesh Phogat belongs today. I mean, the point is that's where Vinesh Phogat has created her identity. You want her to be there and not somewhere else. Whatever the circumstances can be, the point is whatever the circumstances are, we want to see her on the mat, and that is what all our viewers are saying. Look at Priyanshu. Shopil, you can play some of the comments also. Look at what Priyanshu has said. I hope she returns to wrestling. There's wrestling left in her. She's an inspiration. Absolutely. That is precisely the point that I'm trying to repeatedly make, that it is Vinesh Phogat, the athlete, that is critical for us at this point in time, not anyone else. Not anyone else, because you must understand what is Vinesh Phogat's primary identity. Yes, Gargi, if you can hear me, over to you.
Yes, yes. So she has just left the Delhi airport and she's going over to Balila now, her village, and she's going to do a roadshow. As in, there's going to be a rally. So there are stops along the way, as Bajrang Punia, tweeted yesterday. So all of the media, all of her family and friends are going along with her right now. But this to see her walk out and to receive such a warm welcome, it was such a heartwarming moment because everyone ensured that she got the same welcome, the same grand welcome as any other medalist. Of course, she was guaranteed a silver medal before she was disqualified. So it was very heartwarming to see. But she was sobbing throughout. She's still sobbing because she can't believe her eyes, and she looks incredibly grateful for all the support that she's received. I've sent some of the visuals. You can see she's teary-eyed, and she's sobbing throughout. I can't. You're on mute.
You are emotional as well, and that's very natural.
So I just ran. I'm catching my breath. I just
Tell
ran
me,
back
tell me, tell
because
me the
I.
detail. What was the mood like, Gargi? I mean, mood was positive. Mood was celebrating her, and rather than anything else. Yes, please.
Yes, mood was incredibly positive because
Shopil,
you
you
could
could
tell
play the
if.
visuals. You don't need to have me on screen. Just keep Gargi and the visuals on screen, Shopil.
Yes, and please zoom out as well because it's difficult to keep the frame like this because it's in my hand. The phone is in my hand. Yes, so the mood was very positive because at the start you could see that there was a lot more security than actually for any other athlete combined. The hockey team had arrived here, so many other athletes as well as Manu Bhakar, who's a double bronze medalist. So you expected there to be a lot of crowd for that as well. But today it was phenomenal, and the security as well. You could see there were armed forces here today, so that was incredible to see as well. So it was expected that you'd see a huge crowd today, and they did show up. So first there was a little bit of confusion as to which gate she would come out of because the dhol and the drums that her family brought were actually situated on a different gate than the VIP arrival. So there was a bit of confusion there, but after that happened, everyone came to the VIP arrival, and as soon as Bajrang Punia and Sakshi Malik came to receive her with a bouquet, she jumped in their arms, and they were all three of them were absolutely sobbing there. You could see that picture. That's a beautiful picture. That's her mother there. her family members. So you could see how emotional she was. And the first time they lifted her up on their shoulders, but I think Bajrang and a few of the family members lifted her up on their shoulders, and she was just sobbing. She was crying, and you could tell she was so grateful. She was, talking to everyone, as in she was at least trying to, because there was a lot of crowd. But she's taking all the garlands that she can receive. She's taking all of the flags that the fans are giving her. There's a rally here. There are a lot of people who are following her car, and they will do that till Balila, her village. You're on mute.
The one issue here is you don't want this to be politically appropriated. She's a wrestler, and that's
Yes.
the identity. I mean, my only problem with everything that we've seen so far is this issue is also getting politically appropriated, and
Yes.
with the Haryana elections coming up, ultimately, Vinesh Phogat is who she is because she's a champion wrestler.
Absolutely.
We want to see her
Absolutely.
back on the mat, and we want to make this point very clear on Rev Sports. We are not with any political party. We are in
Yes.
with the athlete. That is something to see on that cavalcade. Politicians jumping into that cavalcade, whoever it is, whichever party, that is somewhat problematic for me because then this issue becomes a political issue rather than being a sports issue about a sports star. Your thoughts?
You're right. And a part of the reason why there was so much armed security is because there was, and you could expect a little bit of political involvement here. Maybe you were expecting some sort of mob or something. I'm not sure, but you could tell that there was a little bit of tension before Vinesh Phogat actually arrived. But you're right. This shouldn't be a political motive or anyone a political topic for anyone to push their agendas or talk about this, because this is purely a sports issue that happened. This is Vinesh Phogat not just fighting her opponents, she's fighting the system. She's trying to fight rules and regulations that may or may not be unfair. So this is a bigger issue than political, motives, whatever is happening. So I just want to say to all the viewers that are watching, like, you could tell how much this meant to her, how much she loved this sport. So, this is all about emotions and passion and dedication. This is not about politics.
Absolutely, because she
I
has
believe you're
come
on
back
mute
from an
because I
Olympic
can't hear you.
she has come back from an Olympic Games where she made the final for India. She did not
Yeah.
fight for the Congress party or the BJP or the TMC or for that matter any party. When she comes back, she has come back after a distressing few days, traumatic few days where a medal that was rightfully earned was lost because of a 100 gram discrepancy. So while it is understandable that Sakshi Malik and Bajrang Punia, who are cohorts, will receive her and she will be celebrated and all of this, I don't get the fact that this will turn political right from the outset because the moment this happens, the celebration will not be a celebration, it will turn polarized. And if it becomes polarized, we will not be able to celebrate Vinesh, nor will we be able to sort of sympathize with Vinesh and empathize with Vinesh in the manner that we want to. Because ultimately,
Yes.
this is also an opportunity for India to mount a crusade against rules, against rules that perhaps need reform, Gargi. Because, when we say Aman Sherawat lost 4.5 kilos, Vinesh should have. We actually say that the female body and the male body are the same. They are not the same. Vinesh, there are rules in a sports administration which is still largely male dominated and it is a male preserve. There have to be a relook at rules which make sure that the particularities of the female body is taken into account and the sport is a level playing field. Vinesh provided that opportunity, is what I felt. Your thoughts?
No, exactly, exactly. And we've been discussing for quite a while now, ever since this happened, we've been discussing how different the male and female bodies are. So it should be obvious or natural that the rules should be different for male and female athletes as well, because you can't expect the two gender bodies to perform the same sort of physical activities or whatever processes there are. Because you saw Aman Sehrawat, it is right in front of you, the proof is in front of you. Aman Sehrawat gained double the amount of Vinesh Phogat but was able to lose it in a night. Vinesh Phogat was not able to do so. And like you have said, she was premenstrual as well. So that adds a lot of weight to it as well. If any medical professional was to talk, they would specify that whenever a woman is premenstrual, they gain somewhat weight. And I think these all conditions should be considered when it comes to rules for any female sports, especially wrestling, because wrestling and boxing, because there are weight criteria. These are my thoughts. I think this should be considered. Yes, Boria. I've sent
Add
more
add
visuals by the way.
weightlifting, add weightlifting to that, and Swapnil Gargi sent you more visuals. Play those. Add weightlifting, because Mirabai Chanu, for example, said the same after her bout, that there was a bit of lethargy, and that's when you think there should be a relative degree of weight flexibility allowed, because you have to take into account the particularities of the female body. And like you said, Gargi, just now, I did speak to medical professionals. I spoke to Dr. Padiwala at length, and the medical commission, the Indians who went to the medical commission and presented their side of the story, mentioned this, that Vinesh was premenstrual, and you have to take that into account, because clearly there will be a little bit more water retention in the body, and 100 grams is because of that. Had she been postmenstrual, that 100 grams would not be there. And unless you take that into account, you are actually not making sport a level playing field. I thought Cass missed a trick. I am not here once suggesting that Vinesh should have been given the medal. No. I'm suggesting this should have been used as a platform for reform. Look at sport, which is still largely a male preserve. Rules which have been framed because of it being a male preserve and a male dominant arena. And when you are making Olympic Games gender equal, Paris was the first gender equal games. I think we could have done much better. Use this opportunity of Vinesh Phogat to go in for reform. But coming in to today morning scenes, Gargi Raut, you were there. People who are joining us late, give us a first-hand account from the time you were there till the time Vinesh Phogat left. Gargi.
Yes.
If you can hear me, yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, I think you're there. If you can hear
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
give me a first-hand account from the time you reached till the time she left.
Yes. So I came here around 9:35 in the morning to the VIP arrival at T3 terminal. That's where all the athletes have arrived so far. I mean, there's no one left now, but that's where all the athletes had come. And you could see there was a throng of security and stringent security, something like you've never seen before. You haven't seen this much security for any other athlete. So you could tell that this was, a serious matter for the police, for the security and the armed forces as well. For the first time, you could see that the forces that were here were armed. They had lathis, guns, and as well as smoke bombs as well. You could see that the security had that. So there was a lot of stringent security here. And then, of course, as soon as Vinesh Phogat's family and friends came, they brought, their celebrations, dhols. Everyone was dancing and celebrating. There were chants of देश की शेरनी विनेश फोगाट and बेटी हो तो विनेश फोगाट जैसी हो. So you could tell that people are really supporting Vinesh Phogat at this point, especially her friends and family who treated it, who made it their goal to give her a grand welcome as any other Olympic athlete that has come and won a medal. So they made sure that she received the same sort of attention and same sort of grand welcome. And of course, as soon as she came out, Bajrang Punia, her mother, and Sakshi Malik embraced her as soon as she came out, and she was sobbing. She was so, you could tell she was heartbroken, but she was also, very grateful for the kind of support that showed up, for the kind of people that showed up, the chants that were being made. She was, lifted on top of their shoulders, and she was crying throughout. As I saw her till she left the airport, very far away from here. I was walking with her. I was getting those visuals. She was crying throughout. She was crying throughout. She couldn't believe that this was happening. That she got such a grand welcome, because maybe she was thinking, I haven't won a medal, so why should I get something like this? Maybe. I'm not saying that she was thinking that. I'm just saying maybe this must be going through her mind. But then the kind of welcome that she received, that it was very heartwarming to see.
Tell me something. You were there at the airport for all of the other athletes who won medals when they came back, including the hockey team. Was the kind of crowd the same? Was it more? Was the euphoria the same? Did she get similar kind of emotions from the people who were there? What was your sense?
I think this was much more. The crowd was much more here because I think this has a sentimental feel to it as well, because you could tell that she didn't lose at any point. That's the thing. She didn't lose when it comes to the sport. She lost to the rules. She lost to the system, and because of a huge mistake that she made, but so everyone is at fault. But this had a real sentimental feeling to it, and there was a lot more crowd actually than Manu Bhaker as well, because when I came here for Manu Bhaker's arrival, I thought there would be a huge crowd, but there wasn't as much as I thought. But for Vinesh Phogat, everyone went all out, especially her family and friends. You're on mute.
This is significant because with the Haryana elections coming, this could just become an issue which is appropriated by politicians, exactly what you don't want to do. Did you hear anything about from Bajrang, from Sakshi, from the people around? Did you hear anything about Indians challenging the CAS verdict? Any update on that? Because yesterday our people from Paris, Trisha and Rohan, reported that she was leaving Paris by the 10:25 p.m. flight. They were there at the airport at Terminal 2C as well. And thereafter, you reported this morning. Did you hear anything about? Was there any murmur? Will India challenge this? Will Vinesh come back? Because yesterday, in her that 4-page emotional statement that she put out, there was a hint that I still have wrestling left. I still can go back to the mat. Did you hear anything on that front? Is there any chance of a comeback?
No, I did not actually. Unfortunately, not. Also, because there was a huge crowd and security around her car, so you couldn't really hear what she was saying. She was saying something, but I couldn't catch what she was saying. But I think once she gets to her village, she will talk to the media, I believe, or put out a statement by herself. So let's see what she has to say. But it seems like from the statement that she put out yesterday on social media, which was a public statement, it seemed like she's not ready to give up just yet.
I
You're on
think so
mute.
too, and I'll let you go.
Yeah,
I think so too, Gargi, because from what we read there, it was apparent to me that there is a window now open for a Vinesh comeback. And that's what I want to see. I don't want her to fight an election for any political party. She's
absolutely.
29 years old. All that can come 5 years later. There's
Yeah,
an Asian Games 2 years down the line where she will get Susaki again. This result might have been expunged, but she will get Susaki again. And that is her opportunity to tell the world who she is on that mat. I really, really
absolutely.
think Vinesh Phogat should make a comeback. Gargi Rao, thank you very much. Great reporting. Great reporting from the
Thank you.
morning. Thank you very much for sending all the visuals on time. We've broken every story. Thank you very, very much for now. Just give us a round of, take your time, send it off, and we'll put the story out with all the visuals. But great reporting, great reporting. And to all our viewers, thank you very much for watching. So there's Vinesh Phogat now on her way to her village as Gargi was reporting from the Delhi airport. It's time to see whether this issue becomes a political one or it stays with sport. And will Vinesh Phogat give us any hint about making a comeback to the mat at some point in time? Thanks everyone. Thanks everyone for watching and keep following Red Sports tomorrow. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.